When was this picture taken?
Oh, this picture was taken back in 2000. I was going through chemo. My name is Esther. In December of 99, everyone is concerned about Y2K. I'm going and facing 2000 with surgery for breast cancer. The Bible says that not all sickness is unto death. And I did not have any kind of apprehension that this was it. So it's not a question of, well, whoa, God, why me? Why not me? Who am I to question God? I have faith, but I also have the faith to know that divine healing is however God sees the healing to take place. I can have healing through the doctors because all knowledge comes from God.
African Americans, as a whole, in general, we tend to be a very religious ethnic group. And I think that that's one of the beautiful things about our culture is our faith. Having that faith has given us the strength to persevere. Being proactive to want to protect what God has given us is a wonderful way to interpret the word.
I know of a lady, a situation, whereas she's an older woman. Well, I'm not going to get a mammogram because whatever happens, God knows all about it and he'll fix it. So therefore, I don't even want to know. Well, I want to know. I want to make an educated prayer.
We learn about how our body works and what's going on with our bodies from the media, from online sources, from our physicians, from our friends and family, from our personal experiences. Some of these sources of information are good and some of them aren't. And it's hard sometimes for everyone to sort of sort that out. And there are a lot of things that make sense that just turn out to not be true.
There was a time when I thought that if you touched a lump in surgery that it would go faster and spread faster. I had an older brother who had lung cancer. And the doctor stated to me that cancer is not going to run rampant on the operating table as soon as oxygen hits it.
I always welcome people's understandings and perceptions about what's going on and say that there's no stupid questions because all questions or all beliefs have some foundation for them, and a lot of them make a lot of good sense. It's just that the science may not bear that out.
Some women believe that the size of their breasts defines their sexuality. Well, I know I'm sexy, no matter what size my breasts are. When I look in the mirror and I just tell myself, oh, you look good. You are beautiful and wonderfully made in God's image.
I went from being a passive Christian to an active Christian. And I really had to tap into my faith and my belief in knowing that God could heal me, but at the same time, utilize the doctors that were put in place to help me.
My name is Angela. I was 34 years old. I found a lump in my left armpit, so a biopsy was scheduled. And later on, I was diagnosed with infiltrating ductal carcinoma, a form of breast cancer. And after I sought that second opinion, I began my journey of chemotherapy, a lumpectomy, and 7 weeks of radiation. When I went through my treatment, start to finish, 9 months, I never threw up once. I never got sick. I was tired, but I never got sick. And I saw that vast difference of how it impacted my mother, but not me. And I think that having to deal with my mom's disease and subsequently my disease, it made me seek out so much more and prepared me for what I'm doing now. I think that my mom's death was part of the process of where God is placing me now. And it was really instrumental in developing who I am today. When you're diagnosed with a disease like breast cancer, you have to find a new normal. You know that you are a breast cancer survivor, that you have been through the fire and the storm and you've come out on the other side.
I was 36 years old when I was first diagnosed with breast cancer. I think I share a lot of the common experience that people who are cancer survivors have, in that we're, in a strange way, grateful for our process because, again, it allows you to be present in that moment, to appreciate the good side of the process.
So much has changed, and I go back to the experience that my mom had from me, and so much has changed. The therapies, the treatment, the support, and going back to the support, I had support from an organization called Sisters Network. It's a national African American breast cancer survivorship organization. Just having somebody that looked like me to understand what I was going through was paramount, and it really helped me through my process. The Bible tells us that faith without works is dead, so you just can't rely on what God is able to do, knowing that He's able, but at the same time, you are capable of doing things as well. So it was a point of me, yes, praying, but also seeking out the assistance to help Him in His works for me.
My name is Barbara, and I am a 10-year breast cancer survivor. I always knew that it had to be a reason for this. I didn't know what it was. But the two things I knew was that God was with me, and I didn't think about dying. I asked Him to give me another chance. And I would do whatever I needed to do to make sure that no other woman had to go through this disease by herself. That's what I asked Him to do. And that's what He did. He gave me another chance. He let me walk through that fire so that I can know what it was like. So the next time a woman say something like, I just can't make it, or I don't want to do it, or you don't know what I'm talking about, I can say, oh, yes, I do. I've been there. And I can try to help. You form a new family with the women that you take radiation with. And so I would listen to women talk about their families and how the husbands didn't love them and they didn't want to look at them because they were fried or their breast was gone, and the reasons why they thought they had cancer and how they got it. I went everywhere I could so that I could get the best scientifically based research so I could take it back to my sisters and present it to them in a language they could understand. Look, they don't know what the cause of cancer is. But you can't get cancer from being hit in the breast or wearing an underwire bra. This is how cancer developed. The myths that they bring to me, I try to break them down, not to embarrass them, but to tell them the truth. And then let them make their own decision.
African American women fear that going to get tested for breast cancer is the same as going to be told we're going to have breast cancer, and that we sort of make that association when that's not always there.
We fall down partially because of a lack of knowledge. We are rather listen to old wives' tales than to hear the truth.
By the time we're able to go, or by the time we're sort of dragged there, it often is very late, and the cancer is advanced and it's metastasized, and then there aren't as many treatment options. And so part of the side effect of us waiting so long is that we reinforce our beliefs that something bad is going to happen. One thing that I think is important to recognize is that part of the reason that the African American community, why we have so much mistrust of the healthcare system, is because of real things that have happened in our past. Our country has had a shameful history of offering substandard and separate kinds of care that we treat African Americans compared to non-African Americans. And it's only been relatively recently that Black people have been able to have some of the same kind of access to the same kind of quality of care as other people who live in this country. Particularly for breast cancer, we have made significant strides in trying to make sure that all women, regardless of your insurance or your ability to pay, have access to screening, to diagnosis, and to treatment for breast and cervical cancers.
Are we ready? Let's get excited. Are we ready?
My name is Tasha. When I was diagnosed with having breast cancer, I was 34 years old. My pastor came to the hospital and he prayed with me. And it's one thing that stayed in my mind. He told me, he said, Tasha, I'm not telling you not to take the medical service because you have to do what you have to do to live. before they actually did my bilateral mastectomy, one of the doctors, he suggested that I do reconstructive surgery because I was so young. And I told him, I said, well, I really don't want to do reconstructive surgery right now. He then stated to me that you are too young to walk around like that, and how you going to feel about yourself? How is your boyfriend going to feel about you? What about your male friends? How are they going to look at you? And I looked at him and I said, it's not about them. It's about me. It's about how I feel about myself. And I told him, breast does not make me. Hair does not make me. I'm still a woman. And I love myself. And at this time, I'm focusing on living.
A lot of women have body image issues that either arise from the cancer diagnosis and process or change in some way. And for me, it was actually a liberating process because I became more divorced from my body as a part of my own identity. I think that we're used to sort of seeing ourselves as who we are in the mirror and less of who we are inside.
My attractiveness to men, it has not changed. Actually, I get more numbers now because I got bigger breasts. But no, it hasn't changed. Even I'm dating now, and even now I let the men know what I went through, and they don't look at it like, oh, oh, you don't have breasts? They look at me as a strong woman. And it's like, you have so much, pizzazz about yourself. I would never know. And that's what they fall in love with, me. Not my breasts, not my body. But they fall in love with me first.
I am somebody, and I want to be.
As a Black woman who has been diagnosed with breast cancer, as a physician who sees women every day and thinks about screening for breast cancer, I would tell every Black woman that I know that there is every reason to have hope that you're going to do fine if you get diagnosed with breast cancer. And there's every reason to go and get screened for breast cancer because most likely you'll be told that you're fine. And the more that we continue to engage in healthy behaviors, in healthy promotion behaviors, and screening behaviors, the more likely that is to be the case.